have a struggling student who has failed a test because she does not take good notes. After receiving the grade, she will take the initiative to ask her teacher for help. The teacher, happy to lend a helping hand, gladly accepts and asks the struggling student what seems to be the problem. The student explains her weakness in note-taking and search for ways to resolve her problem. The teacher calls her friend, who is an academic advisor, who she believes can help the student come up with effective skills and strategies that will make their notes better. Better notes will help the student be prepared and help her understand and comprehend the material. Action.
A D again? You need some help? No.
Hi, Miss Fisher. Can you help me with my notes? Yes, what do you need help with? Just taking a notes.
Or like, and my notes haven't really been that good.
Hey Sam, have you gone on the college website before? Because they have a lot of good, effective websites and numbers that you can call and places that you can go to get extra help.
No, I haven't really been to those places.
Well, are you writing word for word for like your notes? Because that's really time consuming and not effective.
Yeah, I guess I have. My notes have been crammed and lazy and sloppy.
I have the perfect thing for you, actually. Let me just call someone really quick. Hi.
Sister, you called me?
Yes, I did. I hope I'm not taking up too much of your time.
No worries. I always like helping out.
Oh, yes. Well, Sam, this is Abby. She's one of my close friends. She's actually an academic advisor here at this school, and I think that she would be a great help for you in your note-taking. Abby, this is Sam. She's actually having a lot of difficulty with her note-taking and would, really need some tips, right?
Yeah, I think getting some tips would definitely help.
So, ladies, why don't we come sit down at my desk?
Well, I'm an academic advisor, like she said, and I'm here to help whatever you need. So, nice to meet you.
I seem to have not enough room for revision, and it's just a bunch of gray. I just think the course is hard, and my notes are not really that good.
Why do you think you're not to the issue?
Because I just think I don't really know any techniques and stuff to do notes, so I just write down word for word for what she says.
Well, for starters, if you really can't help with writing down everything Miss Smith says,
Tell you that you can abbreviate.
When she's talking about abbreviation, you can use things like, instead of spelling out the word for, you can just use the number for, or you can also use signs.
Ms. Fisher is right. When you use these signs, you can save a lot of space in your notes, so you get those extra little details about your topics and your main ideas, so you're not missing out on the lecture.
well, your notes, they're kind of crammed and they don't have any headers or topics. It's like a giant essay.
I know, I hate it. I'm not really good at taking notes. And no offense, but you talk really fast, so it's hard for me to catch up.
Oh no, that's okay. We've all been in that place. I've had those teachers sometimes. I don't mean to, but when you take these effective note-taking skills, you could write down abbreviating. You don't have to type everything that I say, so it's a lot easier to take notes.
When you have these main ideas, you can really cut down on how much you're writing, so you know what you should be writing about. Like, let's say you're talking about font. You know exactly what you're writing about, so you don't have to doze off and write those extra little words that you don't need.
So basically, you just write, your main ideas, not every single thing that I say. Our main ideas are always posted on the board, too.
Ms. Fisher's right. You also seem to be lacking variety in your notes, like visuals and bubble maps and diagrams.
Yeah, you could use charts. Like when we do vocab words, you can write your vocab words in one category, you can write the definition in the other, and in a picture so that you always have a visual thing to look back on.
Yeah, I guess I'll try that. Thank you.
Time to study. I actually get this.
You know what? Every time I said the 6, I will drop my phone.
Sweet, it actually worked.
Good for you! A few weeks later, and even after a few days, the struggling student's notes improved tremendously. She applied and used many helpful tips and strategies given from the academic advisor and her teacher. Sam even asked her fellow classmate how she took notes and how she comprehended the material. She pushed herself and strived to not cram information that was scattered all over the paper, but to rather take the time, review the notes written in class, and continue to revise. Thanks to her teacher and the academic advisor, her test grades and overall grades and the rest of her quizzes went up. Sam finally understood the power and importance of note-taking. This helped her change her bad habits along with becoming a successful college student. As a group, we all went to Daytona State, DeLand campus, and asked fellow students what strategies and ways they take notes in their class. Here's what they said.
I'm a freshman at Daytona State, and when it comes to taking notes, I download the PowerPoint and put it in Cornell Notes style.
Wow, that's really cool.
Okay, my name's Steven Taggart, and I'm a sophomore in college.
What is an effective note-taking skill you do?
I would say is to write down just the main key concepts, and then just try to study that, and don't wait till the very end, and then maybe look up some stuff online.
My name is Emily, and I take notes by printing them offline.
Okay, so note taking. My name is Emmanuel Abreu, and I'm a college student at Daytona State. What I do for note taking is actually what really works is just pretty much write whatever the teacher says to put down, because that's almost all the time what you need to know.
The way I take notes is I put them in Cornell note form, and then I highlight them after I put them in bulletin form. So when I'm done and I'm trying to study everything, I have all the important information highlighted.
So I like to do my notes in Cornell style because it's already organized for me, and all I have to do is put in my essential questions so I know what my focus is.
How I like to take notes is I use rough outline method, which is basically where you use bulleted points. I then take the bulleted points and then underline important points and key information. Then I also like to use examples so that I have a reference and idea of how I'm supposed to do something.
Personally, the way that I like to take notes is to draw pictures or visuals that have something to do with what the teacher was teaching us. That way, whenever I look back to do homework or to study, I think of the picture and then I'm like, oh yeah, like, you know, it reminds me of things that like the teacher said in class, and I find it to be really helpful.
Challenge number 1 is many students struggle with keeping up with the pace of the teacher's lecture. Strategies to cope with this struggle are: 1. Stay after class or go to office hours and ask the professor if he or she could clarify. 2. You could get notes from a fellow classmate and have them explain. 3. You could use abbreviations. And 4. With the teacher's permission, you could record lectures. Then, after class, write down notes and make sure you did not miss anything. Challenge number 2 is many students struggle with not being able to identify key concepts and main ideas. Strategies to cope with this struggle are: to read ahead and familiarize yourself with the material. 2. You could go to office hours and ask the teacher. 3. You could look for key words, underline phrases, or write down things the teacher may say multiple times. 4. One could do additional research on own time after identifying the main concept. Challenge number 3 is many students face the challenge of not understanding terms and structures used. Strategies to cope with this struggle are: 1. Read ahead and familiarize yourself with the vocabulary. 2. Write terms down and search up the definitions after class. 3. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions if you do not understand something. Source number 1 we used was oxfordlearning.com. Source number 2 was Daytona State College Online Library and Learning Resource Center at the DeLand campus. Source number 3 was the on-course textbook. oxfordlearning.com informed us of the importance of why one should use note-taking skills. It listed many note-taking skills, for example, Cornell Note Method or the mapping method, as well as including pictures for each. This gave us a visual representation of each type of note method. The second resource we used was Daytona State Online Library and Daytona State Learning Resource Center. The Daytona State College Online Library gives you great advice on how to tackle note-taking. It also has tons of websites, articles, studies, journals from other students, and online textbooks that can help. At Daytona State, we talked to a present tutor on campus. She informed us that struggling students could come to the Learning Resource Center on any nearby campus for additional tips that could help them resolve their problem. She also pointed out that there are free computers open to anyone who comes in and can be used for researching helpful information in the database. The third and final resource we used was the on-course textbook. This book gives the readers tons of strategies and ways to overcome obstacles thrown in the pathway to success. It also pinpoints key problems and obstacles students face when starting and being in college. There is no doubt the book gives an insight of what college may be like. Though reading carefully and applying the tips in your own life, you will be prepared, have a good mindset, and become successful in college and in life.